Hi guys, welcome to our channel. This is going to be the first episode of Everyone Has a Podcast or on Everyone Has a Podcast. So this is where we talk about anything, everyone and everything. There is no taboo. Trying to make sense of the nonsense around us and voicing out what you've been thinking about quietly. So there is actually three topics we're going to be talking about today, and these topics have been making the rage in South Africa. Because we're here, why not talk about them? First one, Zama Zama being stuck in an illegal mining. What's next? What can we do about it? How can it be prevented? And then topic number two, we have the almighty Baltazar Ngonga, the Equatorial crime officer who got into crime of sex himself. So that's pretty much when power by sex. Our son of a politician in Equatorial Guinea is worse than P.Diddy. And the last one is going to be a taxi industry in South Africa, the unstoppable anarchy. So let's start with the Zama Zama issue. And this one is one where we are pretty much invested. All of the countries invested because this is a very kind of tearing apart communities and tearing apart opinion as well. But in most cases, first of all, we have to reckon that whatever those Zama are doing is illegal. So, because it's illegal, the government is pretty much reluctant to save them. There is apparently more than 1,000 Zama stuck in underground. And I have an article here from IOL. You can check it up on the news in South Africa. It's pretty much out there. Everybody knows about it. So, and that we have several miners have been found to be stuck underground, and some of them have been there for months. So there is an issue in South Africa. Let's recap and maybe explain what Zama Zama is. Zama Zama is an illegal miner, or Zama Zamas are illegal miners. These are generally people that are from foreign countries that come to South Africa to find better opportunity. And by finding better opportunity, they do illegal stuff. And generally, some of them go into crime and crime of any kind. So there are a lot of type of crimes obviously you can commit, but one of them is the Zama Zama crime. And I'm not saying it's only South African. There are also some non-South African. There are also South African that are into it, and mostly those are the big bosses. Those are some of the people that really do benefit from this because they have a network to distribute these illegal mines that have been processed through this illegal mining. So you have people from Zimbabwe, Zambia, Mozambique, so forth and so on, that go underground and mine, in most cases in that abandoned mines that were maybe shut down by the government, that are no longer needed. They still find minerals for sure, and apparently they make good money, especially those are higher up. They do make a lot of money because these are illegal mines, and you can make a lot of money on mining stuff like this. Watched recently on was it Carte Blanche, where one person who actually was a graduate who says that he makes about 20,000 per week doing these things. So he wants to do it for a few months, and then he's gonna go back to whatever he wants to do after. So you can watch that episode of Carte Blanche on the Zama Zama on YouTube on the channel. There is quite a lot of news there. So now the problem here arises because as of last week, I think a lot of Zama Zama have been stuck underground, and the government is pretty much reluctant to help them out, and because they are criminals, that's literally what they say. So the minister to the presidency, Kumbuzo and Chaveni, has said we are going to smoke them out. They will come out. We are not sending helps to criminals. Criminals are not to be helped, they are to be prosecuted. That's what she said. And a lot of people are torn. Some people are supporting her, some other are not. What's my opinion on this? Very tricky, because I work in this country legally, pay my taxes and all those stuff, and we do our best to really stay legal in the country. So it's a very tricky subject because, first of all, those people are human beings. So you do want a human being not to die just like that? No, but they're doing something illegal. And what's even more painful is that some of these minors that are there are as young as 13 years old. And that's what's really heart-wrenching there, because some of them stay underground for months and they literally are in some horrible condition. You can check the the carte blanche story about this, because it really, really sheds light onto how this is a very big problem. But the other side as well is, who are those people that are profiting or taking advantage on these criminal activities? And those people are the one that literally should be investigated, arrested, put behind bars, stripped down of everything that they own or anything like that. Unfortunately, most of them are protected. And that's the case how it goes into a country where some sort of lawlessness is starting to prevail, and that is becoming kind of an issue as of late. I think in all African countries there is a lot of lawlessness. People are not accountable. People don't care about laws, actually, because they have money, they have connections, they know they can get away with everything or anything that they do, legal or even illegal. That is really just killing the African economy. And those people that are literally doing all of this illegal stuff have people in power that are covering for them, that are literally helping them, and they just feel invincible, so they can get away with crime, if we can put it like that. They can literally get away with crimes. And this is literally all the three subjects that we have today that are going to be all about people getting away with crime because they are in position of power, or because they have connection with people in position of power. And the Zama Zama are mining gold and all those other stuff. And you understand that all of these things bring money. And if there is a way to sell all of these things, the person who's benefiting from this is probably splitting shares to be kept into power, to be kept into a position where is not can be touched, so people become untouchable. That's what the situation is, pretty much it. So this Zama Zama issue is tricky. It is unlawful, it's illegal, and it should be shut down. The government should have been put mechanism or operation into places to really try to shut down this. But we only hear about this issue when they arise. They have never been targeted from the root cause, and the root cause is literally poverty, very lenient laws, and lack of action as well. I was telling my wife recently, like, do you think if they bring the army to all of these Zama Zama camps, they will still be doing those things? No, we need to be some hard prosecution. There need to be some hard reactions from the government. They need to really, it's resources that are going to be put there, but it's for the best. So this situation, this one is very sad and very tricky, and yeah, we really need to take it with a pinch of salt, not to give opinion too quickly, not to give opinion, not to hold opinion as well. I think people will be discussing in the comment section what the best way forward regarding those people that are stuck underground need to be done, because now the police is there and these people are armed. That's one thing. These people that are down there in the mines, they have people that are sort of wardened, that, and some of them are forced into this illegal mining, and you wouldn't know because it's happening kilometers below surface. It's very tricky, super tricky. And then culprit number 2, the second thing we wanted to talk about, I'm trying to really dissect all these topics as fast as possible. We'll go in depth when we do like a longer reaction or a longer commentary on all of those things, is about this guy. This one I think I need to put him on the screen, because if you guys are aware, or if you guys follow the news, this guy broke the internet, and for all of the bad reasons, unfortunately, for some of the really worst reason you could think about. Let's just put him on the screen over here. So this is our culprit today. This is so this sex scandal is literally shaking up all of the African Equatorial Guinea political landscape. So I am not going to be reading about this article, but this is the gentleman we're going to be talking about today, or we're going to be talking about next. So this guy name is Baltazar Ngonga. So Baltazar Ngonga is a 40-year-old nephew of the president of the country, actually, and is the head of the National Financial Investigation Agency. And he was arrested on the 24th on charges of embezzling public funds, and allegedly depositing them in a secret account in Cayman Island, which is pretty much typical of all African politicians. They always try to get away with the money and trying to embezzle them and hide them overseas in country where they cannot be caught. So when they arrested him, they took his computer and apparently they gave it to his younger brother. And those are the rumors that have been circulating. And in them, they found over 400 sex tape. I mean, that's a damning number. I mean, you can have, I don't know, that can be explained. So, he's the nephew of the president. He's in position of power, and he does P.Diddy stuff, literally. He has over 400 sex tape on his computer that apparently his younger brother found, and he found that in some of those sex tape, his wife was also, should I say taken advantage of? It was also in those dates with his own brother. So you can already imagine how heartbreaking that can be. So those videos were leaked to the internet, and I'm sure a lot of you guys have seen that, and it's very damning. And what was going on in the head of this guy? That's one question that people have been asking themselves. Why did he pleasure himself into not only doing all of that, but going to the extent of filming himself and keeping it even on his work computer? The fact, or whatever he did, his doings are wrong, inexcusable, or anything like that. So, did he coerce all of these women? Because apparently all of those were happening under consent. So, unfortunately, in that case, there is no crime there. But the crime here is, I don't think against the law, but I think it's against morality. And that is one thing that we need really to put our 2 cents to. When you are, and he's a married guy, that's also something to be added onto that. And so he slept with the wife of a lot of dignitaries and a lot of minister. And worst of all, he slept with the wife of his pregnant uncle's wife. He slept with apparently 15 of his younger sister's friends. And I don't know, being in position of power can literally be a detriment to some people. I think we now have to literally judge him. And then these are definitely be very tricky situation. And so if you read this article, it's actually a very nice article I just found out about that explains, for example, why he had CCTV in his office, where he had an office and he had CCTV in it. He's not a security officer, but he had the CCTV on his office. And I think it was for a reason, because a lot of the those acts were happening in his office, and he had the CCTV there. I think it was for a reason, because a lot of the video that were leaked apparently had him doing the deeds in this office, the place of work. And worst of all as well, I think there was a picture that circulated on Twitter where he was with his employees, or everybody he used to work with, 8 ladies and a few other guys. And out of the 8 ladies, he has had an encounter with 6 of them. You can just imagine. So the government got arrested, obviously, first of all, it was for the financial crimes, embezzlement, and all of the stuff. And obviously with the videos, I do not know if there is any law in Equatorial Guinea where it stipulates that sleeping with a married woman is a crime. In some African countries that exist. But yeah, I mean, the blame definitely will be put, majority of the blame is on this guy and also on the ladies. Which advances did he make to them to get them to sleep with him on camera, on top of everything? And I mean, obviously, we're talking about somebody who has over 400 sex tapes that were found, but they are talking about more than that on his home computer, about 1,500. So if we just consider that over 20 years, this guy's been having all of those videos, he had, in average, 79 videos shot every year for 20 years. That's a huge collection. I think he's in the wrong career. He shouldn't be in politics. Probably should have had an OnlyFans or so. So, what are my takes on it? I want to hear what you guys think about all of these things, and then we are going to take it further onto like another video. So, this is the guy. This is the article. There are plenty of articles that really came up. As you can see, even Times India is spoken about it. You have a lot of news. Even the BBC also covered it. So, it's very bad. So, this is really dramatic. And it's something that can't be excused at all. This is something that somebody that is in power, in position of power. And this is why African leaders are always failing us, because they always go for the mundane stuff. They don't think about the populace. They don't think about people. Like this is. I think I really did well to have this channel created, because I'm going to vent all of my frustration and maybe hear what other people also think. This people was embezzling. This person was, first of all, embezzling money that was destined to make other people's life better. And this is what happening with all Africans leaders. The amount of corruptions and sex scandals and buying work and sexting into work, like pimping people literally to get into position of working and making other people comfortable, it's just insane. It's insane. And it continues everywhere. So the third one we're going to talk about, so this is going to be a quick one, is the this one is also very tricky and a very delicate one, because this is one thing that I literally have a book I'm writing about, and I'm probably going to make it like a longer video in the long run. But I just want to point out the issue with the taxi industry in South Africa. I think those who follow the news recently found out that there was a taxi or a car marshal that literally stopped somebody in one of the provinces in South Africa, Mpumalanga if I'm not mistaken, from picking up a family member. So imagine I'm on the road and then I see, let's say, my cousin, nephew, or somebody I know, and I can't pick him up on the road driving because a taxi patrol stopped me from doing that. And to a point where they even took my car and put it away from the road. And it's really did create a lot of buzz here in South Africa, and people were light. It was very very tricky. I mean, it doesn't even make any sense at all. I mean, who would think that picking up your own relative on the road is a problem? So the representative of the taxi industry in Mpumalanga came out and say the roads belongs to them, and people are not allowed to pick up. I'm just putting a quote unquote there. People are not allowed to pick up other people from the personal car because they are taking away from the business. I do not know the amount of nonsense that you guys can hear there, and I don't know if you guys can just try to make sense of that. And maybe we need to understand how the taxi industry got so much power in South Africa and go back years and years back to understand the influence they have. One thing that you have to know, taxi bosses have a lot of influence in South Africa. They have a lot of political connections. They have a lot of money as well. And with those things, three things, they're pretty much untouchable as well. I mean, and the taxi industry is not regulated by the government. It's self-regulated, and we know the level of lawlessness that can happen if something is left uncontrolled. And that is the biggest issue right now. So, and how did that all happen? Apartheid. Before apartheid, everybody was in those popular areas like Soweto, Tembisa, where there was a concentration of a lot of black people. Those who made it somehow got into like taxi association. That's why you have Alexandra Taxi Association, you have Faraday one, you have Soweto one, so forth and so on. One of the biggest one being Faraday in Joburg, I think, and as well as Soweto. And they have the specific routes, and now it actually makes sense why everybody goes to MTN taxi rank, then from there you go into another place. The taxi industry in South Africa is one of the most complicated one. You can't just buy a taxi and put it on the road. You need to belong to an association, and you need to be promoted from driver to taxi owner. You need to have cash to buy a taxi. You need to drive for somebody for a certain amount of years, and that person is the one who decides to promote you or not. And you understand where all of that violence comes in, because the one who has taxis on the road already want to make the most amount of money. And imagine promoting somebody who will take into that road and all of that possible business and all of those possible people that you can carry on the road every single day will be problematic. Some roads are more profitable than others because, for example, people that go to Sandton or go to Rosebank or places like that, from town to Rosebank, they're more than people that, let's say, go to Pretoria or go to, let's say, Four Ways or places like that. So some roads are profitable to the point where Mall of Africa was being built. There were a lot of bloodshed as to which taxi association would be owning that road. I don't even know which one owned that road because I don't use that much taxis. So, and the government didn't do anything about that. And the government can't put the hands on that because they can't control, they can't manage, or even they can't regulate the taxi industry. The taxi industry are regulated by the taxi association. So that's, in hindsight, how taxi works in South Africa. So they have really, really a lot of power. And there is a lot of crime in that taxi world as well. There's so much so that they have connection with the police, they have connection with the Metro Police. There are even Metro Police officers who own taxis as well, so it makes it very tricky. Let's say you are bumped by a taxi and you try to report it, just forget, you're never gonna get the owner of that taxi to pay you. It's pretty much impossible. It's so much so that somebody I know who got bumped by a taxi told me that the owner of the taxi nearly say, hey, please stop disturbing me if you do not want to get unalive. You can imagine that for yourself. So the taxi industry in South Africa is an unstoppable anarchy. Well, that's pretty much it, guys. So there are so many subjects that we'll be covering, and we're giving explainers and so many shedding lights and so forth and so on. So I'll see you guys in the next video. Please do not forget to subscribe to Everybody Has a Podcast, because this is going to be kind of a conversation, literally, because it's going to be a video conversation. I'm also going to maybe try to put it on YouTube as a podcast so that you guys will know, just follow along. And yeah, let's get this subscriber. I'll see you guys in the next one, and peace out.